it's about that time, so we will get this program started. Good morning, USM class of 2024, families, friends, and special guests. We would first like to invite the senior prefects to the stage at this time to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to begin our program this morning. So senior prefects, if you could come right up here, we'd love to have you. Thank you. The senior prefects started the year leading us on the first day of school, so we thought it was only fitting to have these wonderful students lead us on the last day as well. So
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you. Thank you, prefects. Good morning. We are so glad that you are able to join us here today. We would like to acknowledge some of our special guests who are here with us. We have two of our wonderful academic leaders with us today, Dr. Gina Houghton, who has diligently worked with our students in the upper school, and Ms. Amy Hand, our assistant head of school, who will be making some remarks on behalf of Steve Hancock, who is attending his son's wedding today. Also, we have on hand our beloved 8th grade history teacher, Mr. Chuck Taft, who will be joining us today. And as well as these wonderful academic leaders, we also have some distinguished guests who have done wonderful things here in our community and for our nation. Please welcome joining us today from our nation's armed forces, Lieutenant Colonel Lee Rockwerger from the class of 1965. Andy Gordon, Army Captain from the class of 1998. And our guest of honor for today, Colonel Scott Miller, class of 1968. Thank you to all you wonderful folks for taking time out of your day to be with us today. It's very, very special. There are two words in the English language that are so incredibly simple and carry with them tremendous power. These two words, totaling only 8 letters, can never be said enough. And these words are thank you. Back in the fall, we started dreaming up ideas for the class of 2024's senior class gift. Thank you to the class of 2024 for your vision and leadership for creating an outdoor space on campus to honor members of our USM community who have bravely served in our nation's armed forces. Thank you for your families for raising the funds to cover the cost of the beautiful monument to military service which you see here today. Thank you especially to the Darrow and the Schoen families for their generosity and dedication for making this dream of a monument to military service on USM's campus a reality. This is a one-of-a-kind monument to military service that is truly a legacy gift from the class of 2024 that will provide a space on campus for learning and reflection to honor veterans and future veterans for generations to come. Your generosity and care for this project has inspired our USM community, and we are so delighted to have you all here today for the official presentation and ribbon cutting ceremony for this senior class gift. This morning we will hear from Ms. Amy Hand, our assistant head of school, Mr. Chuck Taft, our wonderful 8th grade American history teacher, and our guest of honor, Colonel Scott Miller, who flew here all the way from Washington, D.C. to be with us today and be part of this special presentation. We also will hear from Oscar Moe, who will be representing the class of 2024. At this time, I would like to welcome Ms. Amy Hand, Assistant Head of School, to the lectern for her remarks.
Hello, USM seniors, families, faculty, and staff, and Colonel Miller and alumni, a special hello and thank you for being here. It's our honor to share this day and this event with you. I'm in only my second year here at USM, so I can't yet make the same kind of claim to USM being my home that some of you can. After all, I'm among parents who have raised their children here, alumni who have stayed connected to the school for decades, and employees and students who have been at USM for years, some of them lifers. And a good handful of you, I recognize, are in more than one of those aforementioned categories. I have, though, in my paltry almost 2 years, already come to deeply understand that what makes USM such a special place is the connections that it fosters. Connections between people, between communities, and between our common trust and our curriculum. And I want to thank the class of 2024 for this gift, which will help to forge and deepen so many of those connections. You are about to graduate USM as learners, leaders, and citizens. And this beautiful memorial that you're bestowing to us connects those three strands, and it connects us. It connects your legacy at USM to a beloved tradition at our school, the March to the Memorials. It connects our campus more deeply to the military community and to our alumni community, and especially to the intersection between them, including Colonel Miller. It connects our curriculum, the learning that Mr. Taft and other USM teachers cultivate around citizenship, American history, and military service, to our community by making it visible. And it connects all of this to your leadership as a class in identifying and providing a gift that is not only beautiful and meaningful on its own, but also emblematic of that connective tissue that threads us together and makes us a strong community. I can't think of a gift that could better embody learning, leadership, and citizenship. I'll save my congratulations to the class of 2024 for next Friday. For today, on behalf of our head of school and on behalf of USM, I'll say to you, the class of 2024, thank you. Now, please join me in welcoming to the lectern, Mr. Chuck Taft.
Thank you, Mrs. Hand. Good morning, everyone, to a day that is very important to the lives of every individual involved with our outstanding class of 2024, especially the parents of the class and the class itself. So I vividly remember the last time I was with most of you in this circle. It was June of 2020, and we were conducting our drive-through closing ceremony. Do you remember that? With I had a big pole with like bags of Jolly Ranchers hanging out, and I had to like put it into your window or whatever, and all that. That was a long time ago. I also vividly remember my biggest professional and personal disappointment of that crazy spring. It was not being able to come together as a class on a trip to Washington, D.C. It was something we all missed, but as your teacher, advisor, and supporter, for me, it was truly a loss. We missed out on the collective opportunity to have a great time before moving on to high school, to eat tacos and dance on a cool Potomac River cruise, to make history come alive as we visited museums and sites dedicated to America's past, and to eat high-calorie treats at food courts across the nation's capital. But our biggest collective loss was not being able to visit, experience, and cherish the many monuments and memorials established to commemorate the countless women and men who have served our country, especially those who have paid the ultimate price of freedom. Those hallowed spaces in D.C. and Arlington are at the core of our country's past, present, and future. And I so wish we would have had the honor to share that community experience. Your class, however, has made up for it, and then some. You have added amazing learners, leaders, and citizens to that resilient Zoom-bound crew from 2020, and I wish you were all lifers and that I could have taught all of you. But you have collectively approached the past 4 years with the effort, energy, and output that leads to excellence in every aspect of life at USM. And through your collective vision and support, you have created a truly hallowed space here at University School. In my mind, this beautiful and meaningful monument to military service is so much more than a class gift. It is a true legacy. It is a legacy of you, the class of 2024. It's a legacy of the countless alumni, parents, faculty, staff, and supporters of the USM community who have worn and will wear the American flag in service to our country. It's a legacy of our school that we love so dearly. And it's a legacy that will inspire future Wildcats and endure far beyond all of us. So while I would love to head to Mitchell International this afternoon and pack all of you in a Southwest Airlines jet, parents included, and head to DC for a 4-day History Palooza, I think you guys have a big week ahead. So I wish you all the best as you move forward to your next exciting chapter. You will always look back, however. That's what we do with history. And I encourage you all to remember this moment as part of your memory. When I bring my classes to this space, I will think of you and I will thank you. Before I introduce our final speaker, I want to say a personal thank you to Mr. Piper for me. So I'm going to welcome Mr. Piper back to introduce our guest of honor, somebody who I've gotten to know and admire, Colonel Scott Miller. So, Will, thank you.
I'd like to introduce you to our guest of honor who flew all the way from Washington, D.C. today to be with us. USM alumnus Colonel Scott Miller from the class of 1968. Colonel Miller is a retired colonel of the U.S. Army. He served as the Deputy Director of Training and Leader Development in the Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army. He was a member of the leadership team for the Army Civilian Training and Leadership Development Program and was co-chair of the Title X Training Program Evaluation Group. A graduate of the U.S. Military Academy, Colonel Miller served our country on active duty from 1972 to 2014, with overseas assignments in Germany, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. Colonel Miller has been involved in some important moments in history, including being stationed in Germany in 1989 in November when the Berlin Wall came down, as well as being in the Pentagon when the September 11th terrorist attacks took place in 2001. Colonel Miller has been awarded the Legion of Merit with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters and the Bronze Star. Colonel Miller is also a graduate of the U.S. Army War College. He has been recognized by West Point for his longevity of annual giving and is a member of the Henry H. Hap Arnold Society for his lifetime gifts to West Point. Colonel Miller is a proud and generous alumnus of the University School of Milwaukee, who is part of the great class of 1968, the first class to attend all 4 years of high school together after the merger between Milwaukee Downer Seminary, Milwaukee Country Day, and Milwaukee University School. Please join me in giving a warm Wildcat welcome to Colonel Scott Miller.
Can you hear better? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll start over. Thank the seniors for the gift and also for the invitation to come here and speak. One thing I'd like to point out that will become evident to the seniors very quickly once they get out into the world, whichever path they choose to follow in their lives, the preparation and the education that you receive from the university school is first rate and covers a lot of things that other places don't. I realized that. I went to West Point and entered there about a month after we graduated here. One of the courses that we took pretty early was calculus. That was not something that was taught in most high schools. We already had about a good half year of it before graduation. But thank you again for the invitation, and thank you to the seniors for the gift.
At this time, we would like to do the ribbon cutting ceremony to officially open the monument to military service. We have holding the ribbon today two amazing upper school teachers, Mr. Fred Lane, Sergeant, U.S. Navy, and Ms. Nancy Yeager, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army, our Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Stuart Cushman, Sergeant, U.S. Army, along with our distinguished guest, Colonel Lee Rottwerger, Class of 68, Lieutenant Colonel Army, and Andy Gordon, Class of 98, Captain, U.S. Army, and West Point alumnus. Cutting the ribbon will be Colonel Scott Miller from the Class of 68, Army, U.S. Army, and West Point graduate, and future West Point attendee, Oscar Moe. So if you all could come right in front here, we will get the ribbon out and be ready to cut the ribbon.
On behalf of my classmates and our families, we are so proud to have this wonderful monument to military service here on campus. We look forward to it being a place for reflection, learning, and inspiration for generations of Wildcats to come. Thank you so much.
To conclude this morning's presentation of the Monument to Military Service, we would like to invite our amazing upper school choir under the direction of Ms. Ellen Schuler to perform our national anthem. At the conclusion of the Star Spangled Banner, we would like to have all of the seniors come up in the Monument to Military Service with a picture, to have a picture taken with Colonel Miller and our other distinguished guests. Following that, we will be going to Mellows Hall for the senior class brunch. If any families would like to stick around and have pictures taken with families in the Monument to Military Service, you are welcome to do so as well. So without further ado, please welcome Ms. Ellen Schuler and the Upper School Choir.
Yeah, Mookie!